Everyone, my name is Yogesh Sharma, and now I am going to create a video series based on MVC, entity framework, and link queue, and various advanced concepts. So, as we know that Microsoft is going to discontinue web form technology, or you can say that MVC architecture will come very soon, or most of companies are working on MVC architecture. So now I am decided to make some videos based on MVC, and we will learn that how I can create the MVC architecture based application. So I have created a video based on MVC design pattern. What is the design pattern, and what is the routing, URL rewriting, everything I have defined. So if you want to learn about the MVC, then you can visit my previous video and you can learn everything. So in today's video I am going to start HTML helpers. As we know that HTML helpers plays a very key role to create a layout of your web MVC application. Layout plays a key role, we know, because without layout a user can't interact with your application. So how it is helpful to using helpers in your application? I will take the practical approach also, where you can see that how the HTML helpers methods can be created. So please subscribe my videos on my channel, and you will find more videos, more practicals, and more concepts based on MVC. So let me start it. So first of all, I want to discuss that what is the HTML helpers. HTML helpers are used to create the HTML markup, to create the HTML controls. Let me take an example. I want to create a input type equal to text. Then I can use the HTML control, or we can use the HTML helpers. As we know, to create a text box in web form technology, we had to just drag and drop a text box from the toolbox. But the thing, or the main concept, to discontinue this technology, because every control have a some kind of binding method, some are there, or the control life cycle also there. Every event will be executed and it will take some time. In MVC, all these things are removed and HTML helpers are created. Okay, these are the methods only. So let me take an example. I am going to create a controller. The controller name would be home controller. We know that controller is the suffix. In each and every control creation you will find it. So the actual controller name is the home, and click on add button. It will create a controller with name home and a action which is a simple, it's a kind of method with return a view. View, it means whenever a user will interact with this particular action, a particular view which is associated with this particular action will be opened. So go to the selection and select the add view. You will find the index, this is the view name, and click on add. So when you call this controller, and if you write the domain like this, www.domain.com/ and the home/index, so this view will be opened. So it is not my key point. I will demonstrate about it in my last video, that what is routing, so you can visit that. So first of all, let me show you that what is the HTML helpers. HTML helpers are just the method, as I told you, and it's three types of HTML helpers we have in MVC4. First one is the HTML inline helper. They can be created by helper tag of region syntax. It can be reused on same page, just like the function you have created in your programming. You will create a function and you can use that function in another page, but in inline HTML helpers we will just create a helper tag, create a method by using the helper tag, and I will reuse this particular helper, right? So let me create it. We can use helper and create a method show details. In show details I will create a string array and give the name items. Okay, now I am going to define the statements or giving the body of this particular function. I just want to create a list. To create a list we have OL order list, and going to create a for each loop to iterate the items array values. As we know that items is a string type array. To read the string type array value you have to take the string data type. Obj is a string object and it will work like an index value in items. Now I have to render the items by using li tag and by using @obj. Okay, so I have created very simple function. Now let me show you that how I can use this particular function. I am creating a h1 tag employee details. Okay, I am calling that method, which one is just created by me, to show details, and passing a array with some values. To create an array I have to use the new string, and I will initialize it with some values, like first one is the Yogesh, second one is the John, and third one is the mass. Okay, you can use it again like address, or you can say the country. Okay, I will again call that method show details and create a array passing some value India, USA and UK. Okay, so there is no need to put semicolon over here. Now my index view has been created by the home controller. So we know that to set the path of your application start, you have to set the root config. So by default the controller name is the home and the action is the index, so there is no need to change or make any changes over here. Now execute it. It's taking too much time. It's calling the home controller and the action index. we have associated a view with that action. Now you can see the output over here. So we have called 2 times a particular method and it rendered the output. Okay, so it's the first technique to create HTML helpers. Just it's using the @helper razor syntax. Okay, now come to the another type of HTML helpers. Sorry, built-in HTML helper are extension method on HTML helper class. So they are very easy to create. Okay, so I'm going to start built-in type HTML helper, and in this built-in type helper I'm going to start with first type of helper, that is the standard helpers, right? Okay, it's a very simple task. We have some extension methods as I told you. And what is the extension method? Let me show you it. HTML dot, to create the text box you have a text box method, and you can pass 2 values over here. First one is the string name, and I am giving the name txt. Okay, if you execute it again, then you will find a text box has been generated, or the HTML markup for text box has been generated. So I have defined a single value over here, or a single first overloaded method I have used in this particular code. Now you can see the output. We have the text box. Let me show you what is the page source. In page source you can see that the text box control has been generated over here, and there are 2 things which has been mentioned. First one is the ID, and second one is the name. We know whenever you posting some data from client to server, the name value will be transferred to the from the URL to the server. Okay, so there is no need to pass to create ID and name, everything. You have to just define the name property, everything will be fine, and ID will be automatically created. So it's a first kind of markup has been generated. Okay, so there are so many standard helpers are there. Like if you want to create a password text box, just use txt1, you will find a password control will be generated. Just refresh it and you have the password. These are the very basic basic controls. If you want to create a drop down, just tag @HTML dot drop down list, and I can use various kind of overloaded method. You can see there are 8 extension methods are there to create or drop down this control. Okay, so let me take a simple control, my drop down. This is the ID or name of drop down, and I want to initialize it with some value like new select list. Select list is a class name, and new that the India, USA and UK. Okay, refresh it and you can find a drop down of HTML helper. Okay, so there are some kind of extension methods are there to create a simple controls by using the standard helpers. Okay, so now take me another example, that if you want that a text box should render um, some text over there, so you can add some value, default value, like my text box. Okay, if you add this, then you can see the final output. Another thing is that I want to implement some style by using the class attribute. How I can use the class? Just define new and @class equal to helper. It's a CSS class. Now you have to create a CSS class for it. To create a CSS class, I will use the style attribute, and in style attribute I will create a class with name helper. Okay, because I am calling this helper, and in this class I am changing the color of control. Let me execute it again, and you will find the output. Okay, something is going wrong. Class. So you can find the color of particular text has been changed. Actually I changed it of the password. So if you want to change for the text box, just add this value, copy and paste, and you will find the value in such a manner. Okay, so my text box is some value, and the text color has been changed from the default color was the black, and it's red color, right? So still we have learned that how I can create the standard helper. Now come to the another kind of helper, that is the strongly typed helper. Strongly typed helper work by using the model. You first of all you have to create a model by using model folder, class add a class, and I want the name of that class like employee model. This is my class name. Now I will define two properties, automatic properties over here. First one is the string username. I want to create a simple username password form where I can pass some username and password, but in later sections, so there is no need to think about them, that what is the processing of form will be performed by the user. So I'm just creating two string type properties. First one is the username and second one is the password. To demonstrate it, I want to create a new controller, that is the login controller. In this login controller we have a method with index, and I want to create a particular view with name index to render the output of your model. So the controls will be generated by using the models property, that is the strongly typed helpers. It's a very easy task. Just define @using, and we have a method to start a form, that is the begin form. Okay, now you want that particular username password format should be generated over here. So it's a very simple task. By using the lambda expression and by passing the reference of your model you can do it very easily. So how we can put the reference of model? Just define model, okay, and what is the your namespace of employee model? It's my namespace. Put here dot employee model. So still we have added the reference of your model at your view. Now by using the lambda expression and the another HTML helpers, we can create a text box and the label. Let me take it HTML dot and label for. Whenever you use label for, password for, text area for, it means that you are using model property to render the HTML markup. Okay, so HTML dot label for can be used to create a label from the model. So we have two properties. First one is the username and second one is the password. So I want to create a username. This is the lambda expression. You can see that what is the lambda expression in my previous videos. So okay, so label has been generated. Now what to do? I want to create a HTML control for it by using text box 4 and again using the lambda expression. Okay, m dot username. Okay, so this is the first paragraph. From the same approach I can create a particular another control label for m dot and password and m dot password. You can change password for, and I am using here input type submit and the value is save. Okay, so let me change the root config file. Now I want to call the login controller. Just pass the controller name with login and define the index, that is my action name. Now execute it, then you will find the username password form will be generated. Okay, now you can see it. Okay, but there is a thing which should be included over here, that we want that the username should have some gap. So how we can do this? Because whenever you are defining the property of a particular class, then you can't put the blank space in a particular property name like this. Okay, so it will give a syntax error. So there is another data annotation value, that is the display. So display is available in using system dot component model dot data annotation. By using the data annotation, you can set the value name equal to whatever value you want. Like I want that should display enter username. Okay, it's a way to declare the display property or data annotation to use that data annotation. Data annotation means that you will decorate your property with the display attribute, right? So okay, now you can see the result again, and you will find that the username or the label for the username will be changed because you have used a display property. So we have username. Just like you can also decorate your password by using the display. First of all, I have to stop it. By using the display attribute of data annotation, let me take it display, and the name would be enter password. Okay, you have written two concepts over here. Display. So strongly typed helpers are HTML generated through model class properties. We have learned that how we can do this. Okay, it's taking too much time. Enter the password. Okay, now I am going to define a third type of helpers, that is the templated helpers. I want to implement this in a particular home controller. I am using public action result and template example, right? This template example will return some view, and I will going to add a view with it, templated X. Okay, so it's a very simple task. You want a username web form, username and password form where user can enter username or password and can log in. So let me take a example using HTML dot begin form, and it's a very simple task to perform it. Let me show you first that what is the templated. These helpers figure out what HTML elements are required to render based on properties of your model class. It means as per the properties of your model class, your render will be generated automatically. There is no need to pass there is no need to call the HTML helpers or standard helpers to implement this. Let me show you by using the HTML dot edit for model. Editor for model is calling this method. Okay, and I'm taking input type. We know that we don't have any HTML helper for the input type equal to some bit, value equal to sign in. That's it. Now I have to call this particular view template X. I have to change the root config file where I have defined I'm going to controller with name home. My controller name is the home and the action name is the template X. Now again I'm going to execute it. So still we have learned that how we can create the HTML basic HTML helpers or the inline HTML helpers and the built-in type helpers. First one was the standard HTML helper, second one is the strongly typed helper, then third one is the okay. Actually the problem is that I didn't pass the reference of my model class, so I have to put this value over here. Where is my view? My view was here. Just define the reference of your model and execute it again. You will find the final result what you want. So you can see the final output. Okay, so this is the it have some limitations, and by using some data type values you can set some values over here, like we have the enter password, but I want that it should be display in password mode only. So it's a very simple task. Just go to the model, and we have a data type data annotation to perform it, to make this as a password, like data type and data type dot password. Okay, by using these data types you can change the basic properties of your HTML helpers. So let me execute it. Now this video is looking very long, or is enough. In my forthcoming video I will define that how we can create the custom helpers. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe my channel where you will learn the more important concept in very easy manner.